Let's meet up at Mr. Johnson suddenly pushed the door open and looked at me with anger, and I instantly couldn't hear what Tyan was saying again. He marched forward, and my heartbeat was unusual. He swung his fist in my face, making me fall on the bed as the cell phone fell off my hand. I felt my cheek burst, and I felt the taste of blood. I pushed myself and held my face, looking up in his terrifying monstrous face. He was pissed off, and I knew what caused it. Mr. Johnson grabbed me by my collar shirt and punched me again and again and again, punching out the wrath and hatred he had for me in my face. I felt that excruciating pain going deeply, and I quickly found a way to grab the phone. "I'm going to call you back," I whispered weakly to shut Tyan up from calling out my name. I clicked the red button, and my Mr. Johnson snatched and smashed on the floor. I gasped, and I couldn't believe what he did. I looked at my mom, who was screaming in shock, and saw her eyes widen as she placed her hand on my mouth. How was she going to get another one when she was broke and trying her hardest for my siblings and me to have food in our stomachs? Mr. Johnson stepped on the phone and tried it against the floor. He looked over at me and pulled me up by my neck till I couldn't feel my feet on the floor. I looked into his black eyes, and I knew they cared less if I die now. My eyes began closing, and I heard my mom crying and begging Mr. Johnson to stop. Her ripping and pleading voice on behalf of me was penetrating my soul. My heart ached for her that I didn't know when tears were streaming down my face. Was this how I was going to die? Should I have listened to Tyan when she had told me to report him to the cops? How was Mom going to live when I die? What was going to become my siblings? God, please no. I still want to put a smile on their faces and make them happy, fully comfortable. I want to take care of them. I tapped my eyes, closing eyes. I fought to keep them open. I wasn't going to die like that. Different thoughts were going through my head, driving me mad and urging me not to close my eyes, not to give up. Mr. Johnson's eyes met my squinting ones. "You don't mess with my wife," he bellowed, and I nodded my head. I felt a terrible headache that made me feel my head was going to explode any time from now. He kicked my stomach with his knees, and I brought forth blood. "Dad?" I heard Priscilla call. "Take your sister to her room now." Mom yelled at Baya. I saw her with the corner of my eyes as she pushed them away till they left. My mom grabbed my wrist and tried pulling me down from Mr. Johnson's grip on my neck, but it was only adding to the pain I was feeling. I gasped weakly, and hurriedly my mom decided to pry his hand off my neck. Her crying was non-stop. "Lola, let go of her," Love Line ordered, and instantly he dropped me. Not carefully to feel my feet, but got me to the stumble and banged my head on the edge of the drawer next to my bed. The agonizing pain shot through my head, and I couldn't scream but whisper. I lay on my back and held my head, breathing with my mouth open. My mom quickly braced me in her arms as she knelt beside me, weeping. "You are a monster." Mr. Johnson gave my mom a backhanded slap, and she yelled, "Shut up!" "Hey, it's okay, now let's go," Loveline said, and pulled him to her. She picked him, turned his face from us, and finally led him out of my room. Mr. Johnson was drunk tonight. He was saying. He knew what he had done to me, to us, to the girl he had once loved, and to the wife that got him 2 children. I stood up with the help of my mother, touched her shoulders, and looked straight into her sad eyes. Her face was weak, and traces of tears were on her face. I smiled at her and promised myself I was going to give her the best life she deserved. She was worth more. She was my true mother and hero. I touched her face and hugged her. "Thank you," I said and started to cry, grateful for her efforts in my life and siblings. She pulled me back and bobbed her head. I glanced down at her white shirt and saw that it was stained with my blood. "Sorry." "No problem, what now?" I picked up the damaged phone and removed the SIM card and handed it over her and held her hand. "This, keep it. You know it contains some important contacts. I'll make sure I get one." "I'll try, Mom." "You don't have to, Justin." She shook her head. "You have done enough. Don't kill yourself. You have given me the support, attention, and happiness every child is supposed to give her mother." "No, Mom, it's not enough." "I will make you happy." I went to the restroom and looked at my messed up face that I didn't know was worse than I had thought. My left eye was swollen and it looked like it was about to close. My lips became big and burst. Something spicy was going into my mouth for some days to come. I turned on the tap of the basin and washed my mouth. It hurt. I wobbled my mouth with the water and poured out the red water. When I got back into my room, I changed my clothes to the boyfriend jeans Bisola had bought me and a yellow top. I took my white sneakers from the corner and wore them too. "Where are you off to?" "To Bisola's." "It's late already." "I can't stay here tonight or else you will meet my corpse the next day. He could murder," I said, standing up and facing her. "Make sure you sleep with the kids. Lock the door." "Okay, but you don't have to go anywhere. We can sleep together. All of us. It's 11 already." "Don't worry, Mom." I gave her a quick kiss on her lips. I shifted my window, turned and took a look at my mom. I blew her kiss and whispered to her to stay safe and stay alive before I found a way to jump down. I needed to shed away from the pain and suffering. Staying home was just going to be a reminder of it all. The dark street was silent except for the few running cars that made me jump in fright. 20 minutes later, I saw Isola's house and her room was lit. I climbed the tree close to her windows and when the normal thing I was supposed to do was knock on the front door, but I didn't want her mom or dad to see me in the condition I was in. I threw some pebbles I had picked up before climbing and soundly called out her name. Isola came over to the window in a crop top and a wrapper. She opened the window and I jumped, freaking her out. She attacked me unexpectedly and was about to punch my face when she saw that it was me. How did she learn how to do that? I was a fighter skills. She and Toyin visit me sometimes. "Doesn't?" Missoula called. "Didn't you know I was the one?" "Of course, you don't pass the window." "Toyin does that whenever we want to sneak out to a party, but she is here." "What happened to her face, Toyin?" Frowned. "You said you would call back and then you hung up, and I couldn't call you again. It was going to voicemail when Bissell tried call." I exhaled, went to sit, and narrated it every detail. "I'm sorry you went through this. I wish I was there to break his bones. No offense," Jane said. "What do we do now?" "Report him." I shook my head. I didn't want him jailed. I looked at my best friends and thought of what they had told me. My life needed to change. I glanced at the wall clock and saw that it was 1 minute to 12. A new year. I got to start a new life too. Not stuck with living for months. I stood up, not thinking twice. I want in. I want to join the Scorpion group. The story of my life. and it's a revelation to a secret hidden for the past 17 years marked the beginning of a bigger predicament in my life. The beginning of knowing what it was like when life was dealing with me that I felt only I could understand better. Not to combine the financial instability in the house. My life varied depending on what the day threw in my face, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It wasn't funny at all. Then, on a good bubbling night, the worst scenario of my life made me do the unthinkable. On the night of the 31st of December, during the crossover celebration, I experienced something that made me think enough was enough. I couldn't take this pain any longer than I had, so I made a terrifying decision that could either kill me, take a piece of me, or make me whole. The Scarborough group that I had an aversion to when I was invited was the same group that did some things in my life, but one of which was the greatest. My name is Tyson Johnson, and this was how it started. I started feeling the weight of the burden.